How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to be speaking about an interview involving Mikel Arteta and the plans for next season. We're also going to be speaking about Barcelona and Lionel Messi as he brands rumours of a move to Inter Milan as being fake. And we're also going to be talking about the new initiative that was announced yesterday for Premier League footballers and a scheme that they have set up for the NHS.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right. So the first place we're going to start is Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, and he was doing an interview yesterday for Sky Sports where he was speaking about the transfer situation with Arsenal and what the plans are going into next season, whether that may be. Mikel Arteta has revealed he is planning 2 or 3 different scenarios when it comes to Arsenal's summer transfer window. FIFA announced on Wednesday that they are to allow the summer transfer windows to be moved and has recommended player contracts to be extended until the season ends. Arsenal currently have Dani Ceballos and Cedric Soares on loan, while they also have the option to buy defender Pablo Mari. Arteta claimed last month that the Gunners need to sit down with captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang before the end of the season to thrash out a new deal. Speaking on Sky Sports, the Arsenal boss said, "I'm planning 2 or 3 different scenarios that we can face. Depending on one of those 3, we will be able to do more, less or nothing. We have to react daily. We don't know what the financial situation is going to be. We don't know the rules, the timing, the window. There are so many things we cannot control at the moment." Arteta has admitted the connection between Arsenal, its players and supporters was in a difficult state when he arrived at the club. Arsenal were without as many as 10 first-team players when Arteta first joined the club during the congested Christmas period. But there were signs of momentum building before the coronavirus pandemic brought a halt to the campaign. He goes on to say that "I went through a lot when I got here. I had 8 or 10 players injured and there were a lot of issues to deal with. The connection between fans, players and club was in a difficult state at that moment. We had to change that energy, the belief and the commitment from the players. I was very pleased because everyone was on board with that and what we were doing. We started to win 3 or 4 games in a row and there was much more positive a mindset around the camp." Arteta has also been sharing his challenges during the current lockdown as he bids for Arsenal to hit the ground running once football returns. The former Manchester City assistant had enjoyed an encouraging start to his first managerial role after replacing Unai Emery at the Emirates, but he admits the younger members of his squad will be finding the current situation harder to handle. The experienced players have families around them and kids that are occupying them. Those of us with children only realise now how hard it is at home when we are away from our wives." Yeah, I agree with that one, most definitely. For the young players, some of them are alone in their apartments and for there are long days. We have to be caring for them and we have to keep them busy and try to do things to improve their development and education. So yeah, it was quite a wide-ranging interview. But yeah, the situation, what he was saying, that, we can do a lot, less or nothing. You kind of take of that what you will. And what I get from the interview is kind of saying, dependent on what players may leave, dependent on what they can do. If we keep, all the players there, like an Aubameyang, for example, then we wouldn't have to do anything in the striking department and whatnot. So I think it's going to be a very interesting window. But again, like Mikel Arteta was saying, it all depends as to when the window's going to open. How much money's going to be available? Will they be able to spend certain amounts? It's so up in the air at the moment in terms of what happens. Are we going to complete this season first and foremost? Is it going to be void? Yeah, there's so many things that are unanswered and we don't know where we're going to be because, let's just say for argument's sake, we were in the Champions League. That would completely change our transfer policy. You know, some players that might want to go or could be possibly leaving, like Aubameyang, that could be the difference with him staying and saying, you know what, yeah, I'm going to stay for this now. We're in the Champions League and I feel that we can do something at the club. You know, when you go to buy players as well, you've got that carrot dangling in front of them of Champions League football. And there's a big difference between that and Europa League. So there's so many permutations and what's actually going to happen. And we don't actually know. So a lot of what Mikel Arteta was saying, take of it what you will. I suppose people will put their own twist on it and what they feel that he means and kind of interpret in between the lines. But I get that a lot of, you know, what he's planning depends on when we can get going again. First and foremost, it's not so much about who will be here, but as to when we can get going, and whether we're going to be playing European football, Champions League, Europa League, whatever it may be, we don't know. So interesting, and again, we'll have to just wait and see, and we can't say no more than that at the moment. Another piece of transfer news involves Lionel Messi, and he has branded reports linking him with a move to Inter Milan as fake news. The Barcelona forward took to social media to rubbish more speculation over his future at the club, which also linked him with former side Newell's Old Boys in Argentina. Messi posted lie number 1 and lie number 2 over a screen grab of a tweet by TNT Sports, which also questioned whether Messi paid the bail money for former Barcelona teammate Ronaldinho to be released from prison in Paraguay. That's a bit intrusive. Even if he did pay it, you know, and helped a former teammate out or whatever it is. I don't know where half of these reports get, you know, their stories from. But he added what they said in the same media about Newell's a few weeks ago was also false. Thank goodness that nobody believes them. He also goes on to say that he is increasingly frustrated at the volume of misinformation being reported about his future. So on one side of this, you know what, it's actually good that a player can come out and actually, you know, stop rumours immediately, you know, calls out the fake news. A lot of these newspapers, reports or whatever they are, will say these for clicks, you know, and to get people to read their stories and whatnot. And they know that majority of the time, they will never get called out for it from the players directly. Especially not someone of the size of Lionel Messi. But he's literally came out on his social media and said, you're lying. So you cannot get any more clearer than that from the horse's mouth, as we say. So yeah, fake news. No Inter Milan, no return to Argentina. And he didn't post the bail money for former teammate Ronaldinho. So there we go. Pretty straightforward and pretty conclusive. Now, of course, yesterday news came out about a fund that has been set up by Premier League footballers for the NHS charities called Players Together. Brilliant setup this is. Brilliant initiative. So many players involved from teams all throughout the Premier League. And you've got to take your hat off to them. They've been under a lot of criticism, unjustly, in my opinion, in terms of their wages and everything else. And, you know, the amount these guys do pay in tax when you think about, you know, the wages and everything. They pay the highest rates of tax, national insurance and everything else. And, you know, they work tirelessly for charities and everything else. And I think it was wrong that they were put in the spotlight when there's people out there that should be questioned a little bit more in terms of what they're doing in the current situation. But they've set up this fund and it's absolutely superb. And how did they actually get to this, you know, situation? Since the coronavirus pandemic shut down football, footballers' pay has become a key area of interest in the political landscape. The Premier League asked players to consider a temporary wage drop of 30%, but agreement was not reached, with a PFA statement claiming the proposed 30% wage cut would cost the Exchequer 200 million and be detrimental to the NHS. Players led by Jordan Henderson were very much on board with helping the country financially during this crisis, but wanted to make sure their donations got to the right areas of need rather than helping balance in the books of the Premier League clubs. So where does the money actually go? The players have partnered with NHS Charities Together, NHSCT, in order to assist them in generating and distributing funds quickly and efficiently to where they are needed most. The charity represents, champion and support the work of more than 140 member charities and give over 1 million every day to the NHS, enhancing patient experience and care. In this current crisis, they are supporting NHS staff and volunteers caring for COVID-19 patients. So listen, absolutely brilliant this is from the Premier League players. And like I said, they've been wrongly criticised from certain people within the government as well that should know better. I think there's a lot more people out there that should be getting questioned that are not, in terms of what they're doing. I've seen some stuff and I really don't want to get too involved. I don't want to start saying my personal opinion on a show where I'm trying to just relay what the current news is and everything. But there's some people out there that are very quick to come forward in certain aspects. But right now they're very, very quiet. And it's not footballers and it's not people involved in football. It's celebrities and certain ones in particular. But we'll save that for another video because I feel that I need to just say what I really feel sometimes in respect of certain people and the lack of what they're doing at the moment. But yeah, listen, we're just reporting the news and what's actually going on at the moment, so I'm going to stick to that. But what the players are doing is absolutely superb. The likes of Jordan Henderson, I believe James Milner, Troy Deeney, those are the guys that are heavily involved at the forefront. Hector Bellerin at Arsenal as well has been mentioned as one of the names that's right at the forefront. And so many players from all clubs throughout the Premier League have been getting involved. So it's really, really good to see that they're, set up this fund for the NHS and helping with what everybody's going through at the moment in the time of need. So that's absolutely brilliant. So there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. Let me know in the comment section what you think about today's topics. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.